most terrifying existence you could ever imagine. So I want to say I respect bugs. I hope that we can always ensure that they stay with us, the ones that are necessary. And uh, I also love to see them terrify us and kill us in movies. That's all I want to say. So thank you for being here. Let's get started talking about bugs. Okay, so what is your personal relationship with bugs? We'll just go around the room. Brendan, do you want to start talking about that?
Sure. So I don't know. I guess it started out with like Spider-Man being bitten by a radioactive spider, you know?
Yeah,
And then there's like an episode in the 90s cartoon where he turns into the man spider. So he's like a werewolf, but he's like a big spider. He's got like 8 arms and stuff. Um, but like lots of stuff. I've just been like all of a sudden like just like bringing up stuff from like my childhood and like Goosebumps. There's a episode with a
oh
giant
yeah.
worm.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't
go eat worms or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since it came out or when I caught it on TV as a kid. That image of the giant worm like coming digging its way through the tunnels still like
Oh,
lives rent free in my head.
terrifying.
Um,
That's a terrifying episode. That book scared the crap out of me too.
Yeah.
but there's lots of stuff that kind of where bugs like just shaped. They're everywhere, and you might not even realize it in media as a kid growing up. Like I started thinking about it
Oh
in
yeah.
all like in non-horror movies too, especially like fantasy movies. For some reason, bugs are used. Like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. They go
Right.
to the forest to meet the giant bug, who's this giant spider. There's also Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, where Frodo and
Giant
Sam have to
spiders.
deal with the giant spider. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Anthony, I think I think it's his name, or yeah, it's Anthony.
I don't
Uh,
remember.
he faces off against the giant scorpion to protect the
Uh,
kids from being eaten.
that
There's
scared the
just all,
crap out of me as a kid. Oh my God.
oh, me too. But I love it. I just think they're so they're alien, right? Like when you see them up close, they're super alien. It's almost like dealing with creatures like down in the depths of the ocean
Yeah.
that you've never seen before. They're just so weird looking, and when you get those close-up shots of what they look like, it's disgusting. They got 8 eyes, 8 arms. They're surprisingly like super hairy, which you wouldn't even think of, and they just got all these
Right.
little mandibles and stuff going. So they're just horrifying creatures up close.
And they have like all these crazy skills, like all these weird, unique things they can do. And we'll get to some of those a little bit later. But Sam, do you have anything you want to share about your associations with bugs? Mike, we're
Yeah.
saving you for last for a reason, I think.
I guess I'll go into my past like you did. There was that one movie, The Mummy, where the beetles went inside the guy. I
Mm.
was scarred by that
Ooh,
scene as a kid. I didn't even watch the movie. My babysitters
yep.
were watching the movie, and I saw that scene on the TV, and I went home and was so scared. Like I thought they were gonna go inside me, and it was so gross. Um,
Oh, the scarab
and
beetles. Yo.
and then when I went to Disney when I was really young, we went to see, was there a movie called like A Bug's Life or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we watched it on a big screen at Disney, but it was like one of those movie theaters where they like throw water at you and like do all these things. I left crying because my mom got stung by the bee in her chair. And like not a real
What?
bee. It was like they would like poke your back in your
Oh,
chair to
yeah.
make it seem like you got stung. And I was so scared of bees. So I left crying and my mom had to take me out. Um so yeah, like I guess I was scared of them as a kid. Now as an adult, like I'm terrified of house centipedes because those are creepy crawly. I've found them in my bed before. I've had them crawl up my arms when I like open a cupboard before. Like I've had way too
Ooh.
many gross experiences with house centipedes and they're so fast. And sometimes they're
Yeah.
like this big and they'll be in your shower. Like I've had them on my leg before in the shower and I like scream. They're so gross and they're fast and that's what I hate the most. And yeah, I was kind of scared of bees growing up, but then I got stung for the first time last year and it actually freaking hurts. I don't know if I can swear, but it
Wait, that was the
hurts.
first time last year?
Yeah, yeah. I was
Oh
mowing the
wow.
lawn and it got under in my shoe, in my croc. And then I was just like, I'm done mowing the lawn after that. After my whole foot hurt. So I'm not allergic. I know that now. But yeah, I don't think I'm like necessarily like terrified of bugs or anything, just the house centipedes now. And that
Okay.
beetle scene still is in my head.
Oh, yeah, you can feel it crawling inside. Like you don't want things crawling, but it's so weird because I know exactly what you're talking about, those house centipedes, and they're so fast, and but they're so tiny when you think about it. And why do things that are so tiny, why do they scare us? Any ideas?
I don't know. I don't
Because
know.
we're afraid of what we can't see.
Oh, there we go, Mike. That's a great segue into
They're
Mike.
everywhere.
You want to delve into that a little bit, Mike?
Sure. So I'm happy to be a part of this panel, and I think I was asked for a particular reason. One, I actually do love bug horror, insect horror
Yeah.
films, and it'll lead to everything, the reasons why. I have a very unique relationship with insects on many different levels. From the least drastic of, I'm a very squeamish person, so I don't like bugs that I really don't like are like worms and stuff without spines, like the really squiggly ones. Because I don't know if you guys remember growing up Disney Channel, the movie Brink.
I
They
don't remember that one.
It
No.
was a Disney original, like Disney Channel original movie about the skater kids. They were like on skate teams and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and one of the kids put worms in another kid's sandwich, and he bit into it. That made me very grossed out, and everything that looked like that just grossed me out. I hated worms. Go eat worms terrified me. But also that ended up triggering eating situation of I hated any form of noodles that were squiggly like worms. So
Oh, wow.
I did not eat spaghetti until I was 20 years old. That's how long it took me to
Oh,
get over it.
jeez.
Um, because I just really like fixate on things. And I think it's because I've always had anxiety even when I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Um, and then you get diagnosed later on with anxiety, but I think that's always been a thing for me, and I didn't realize that I had such a relationship with fixating on things when it came to my anxiety until we started finding out later on. Uh, I'm also allergic to spiders, so FYI, that's why I hate spiders.
Oh, I didn't
They
know
have
that.
really awful reactions,
Oh, wow.
which also probably comes into the biggest part of my relationship with bugs, is I have a form of anxiety-induced formication. So I see and feel bugs that are not there when I am in very high states of distress.
Oh.
When I am at my peak anxiety, unfortunately, sometimes I think that there's bugs on me, different types of bugs. I think that I see bugs and I know that they're not there. So sometimes when I'm stressed, it's very hard to separate reality from not reality in regards to
Yeah.
bugs. So my relationship with bugs is very uh, off-putting in that sense because I relate them to my stress and anxiety all the time. But in the same way that the reason why I love horror in general, not just insect horror, is horror has always helped me with my anxiety. Um, I think I talked about this on the horror mosaic, is I watch horror because it gives me anxiety, but it's anxiety that I know is going to go away at the end of the movie. So it takes all the anxiety, the real life anxiety that I have, and it takes it away for a little bit. And I think that's why I also really love and gravitate to insect horror because, like you said, some of it is so cheesy and it's so science fiction-y and Godzilla like that you know for a fact that it's fake. so I
Yep,
can separate it when I'm watching it in a movie. With the
exactly.
exception of one movie, I will bring it up later because there is one movie, well, two particular movies that get under my skin.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited to hear about that, and that is the reason I wanted you here, not to traumatize you or anything like that. But and we talked about this before when I said, "Don't worry if you can't if you can't do the panel." But I thought it was important because it's a great perspective to show how horror can help people in that way, and even something that seems as silly as a bug movie, a bug horror movie, and some of them are really silly. And it's one of the things I thought about talking. I was talking about sharks yesterday, and how a lot of people became terrified of sharks after Jaws, and kind of overblew how dangerous they are. And I think whenever you start having silly shark movies, like where sharks are swimming through mud puddles or something, then it helps people see that they can laugh at it and not be afraid of it. And it kind of has the side effect of being like, oh, okay, well, they're not as scary as I thought they were, which you do need to respect them still, but don't go out there and take your selfies with them or anything like that. But I think that's a great message. So thank you for sharing that, Mike. And let's go to. Oh, I wanted to share a story I had from bugs. I forgot about this story from my childhood. Okay, so I'm thinking of some specific bug related memories of things that happened in your life. For example, whenever I was a kid, I was outside with my friend Lyle, and we got into a big fight about something. I don't know. I was like 4 years old, but I had a cup of like Kool-Aid. Do you have Kool-Aid in Canada? I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if it's like an American weirdness or something.
No, we
Okay,
got it.
okay. So anyway, it was Kool-Aid, and I set it down, and we were fighting. And then I was like, okay, bah, 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 stomp back and go drink my Kool-Aid real fast. And I didn't know that it had got a whole shit ton of ants in there. So I just like
Oh.
swigged down a bunch of ants, and that was my first trauma with bugs. So do you have any stories that you want to share?
I don't think I have any stories where I've actually drank a bug, but like I've always been
It can
paranoid
only
about
be
that
bug
though.
drinking.
No, no, I just wanted to say I've always been paranoid about that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
because like in the
Oh,
summer when
geez.
you're like you've got a can of like something fruity and you got it on the deck or something, you'll like kind of look to make sure no bee went inside or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
I did have a bee go down my shirt when I was little, and I remember just grabbing my shirt real quick because I was so scared and I just squished it, and then I just like let it fall out. And I've always been scared of bees. I already said that, but yeah, luckily I didn't get stung.
Until yesterday or something.
Last year, yeah, last
Oh
summer.
yeah.
I can't think of any other traumatizing ones. I've already told you guys with the house centipedes all over my body at times. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
really
Wait, and Mike, you don't need to revisit yours unless you have a specific memory you want to share about it.
Um, Honestly, like I said, no, they're all pretty bad to me. Like,
Okay, that's fine.
I just don't like bugs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, yeah, they're not great.
Okay, what about you, Brendan? Do you have any memories?
I don't know about like super traumatizing. This is gonna sound real bad because of the situation I went through a couple years ago, but like I used to let like spiders bite me as a kid, like make them bite me to be like
Whoa,
I wanted to be Spider-Man, okay? Like
that's
I was
so that's
I
hardcore, Brendan.
I wouldn't I didn't do it very often. Like I did it every once in a while. I'm like maybe I got the radioactive one now. Um so there was
Nope,
that.
just the poisonous one.
Yeah, luckily there's no poisonous ones up here too often. Um,
Okay.
but I got stung by a bee when I was screwing around at my uncle's house and climbing up on like an old tractor or something like that, and I got stung around the temple, and I just passed out. I
Oh
just like
wow,
yeah, I just like fainted,
that's
and
intense.
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it was just because like I was so shocked that I was stung by a bee or what happened, but like yeah, I just like fainted and then I got up and I went and told my mom, and then I laid down and she put some ice on me, and that was it. It's not like I'm not allergic to bees at all,
Oh
but
wow. Yeah.
for some reason that just fucked me up. And like I got stung, like same thing happened to me too last year where a bee just flew into my shoe and stung me. But like
But
I've
you
never
didn't
had
pass
that.
out that time.
Yeah, I've never had that visceral reaction from being stung by a bee since.
You had your spider
Wow.
bite. You don't want to go there. Is that too soon?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was a spider or what bit
Oh
me. Like
God.
it could be like a fly. It could have been a horse fly. Like
No, I
Oh
can focus.
no.
I looked at the wound. It was a recluse.
Oh, I
yes,
know those wounds. Yeah.
but like that didn't traumatize me either. That was just a serious fucking
Did you
inconvenience.
guys not see my Twitter posts of his leg? I
I
even
never saw
censored them.
those.
I censored them because I didn't want people to get mad at me because they were bad. So like you have to like click the warning to be able to
That's
see
why I
the
didn't see
photo.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was posting updates because people were literally following this story of this bug bite that was massive
Yeah,
and just rotting his leg.
I
And
do remember that. Oh, that was
he ended
before
up
like I really knew you, I think. Oh my God.
he
yeah,
had to get it cut out and everything, and then it got so much worse after that, the infection from it getting cut out. And
yeah.
he's got, sorry, I'm just like sharing your traumatic
No,
story.
that's
You
fair.
can go ahead and
Yeah.
finish.
I yeah. No, it's
You're
fine.
like, guess what happened to him?
Yeah, yeah. Fucking, he got bit by a bug and fucked up his whole life for a couple
Oh
years.
God damn. That's
Well, this
intense,
has to do
Brendan.
with his surgery he was just supposed to get too,
Yeah, because
Oh my
I got
God.
venous varicose veins in my leg,
which is the
so
reason it wasn't healing.
yeah, a part of like it being
Yeah.
infected.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
yeah, so
shit.
yeah, so like the bug bite started as a normal bug bite, and then like I didn't think anything of it, and then it grew within like a month to the size of a dime
And it was
or a
black.
nickel, and yeah, it was like all like rotted on the inside and stuff, and I'm like, "Feel a little weird. It's not healing." And then like the whole time through my head too, I'm like, you see videos of people coming back from like vacations and they had a bug bite, and then all of a sudden there's like a fucking grub living
Oh
in the wound.
no, don't say that. Don't
Yeah,
say that.
that was
I
one of the
can't think
things.
of that.
That was one of the things that I thought was happening. I'm like, maybe there's like whatever it was like laid a fucking egg in there.
And not only was the wound bad, your leg was blown up like a balloon. Like
Mhm.
I took pictures of his legs and like one of them looked normal and one of them was like full of
Uh,
fluid.
Yeah.
oh
So
God damn,
it was
Brendan, you really lived
So
through a
glad you're
horror
better.
movie. Yeah.
what?
Hmm.
So glad you're better
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because oh my God, that is a story.
I still have my leg.
We
Oh,
thought he
Yeah.
was gonna lose a leg. Like my mom was seriously concerned.
yeah,
Like we thought he was maybe gonna
That's
miss a leg.
wild.
yeah. I could have
That's
sold it for like
wild.
$500 too. I'm pretty sure.
So
Like
now all my bug bite infection issues that I've had are not nearly as bad. So
see?
thank you for perspective.
See? That's why we do this. We are overcoming our fears today by reminding ourselves of Brendan's pain. Um, but I did have a girlfriend one time, Brendan, who got bit by a recluse because brown recluses are all over Memphis, Tennessee, where I was living at the time. And she got bit by one, and we knew about it the next day because she started developing the nasty thing you're discussing, and it started to get worse and worse over time. And we were like, "What the fuck? It's not. It's like turning into this rot of some sort." It never got that bad because I think she like you talked about the veins that are susceptible to that, making it difficult to heal. So she didn't get to that point, but I can see how it's awful to deal with for sure. So I reiterate what Mike is saying, which is we are very thankful that you are here with your leg intact. Okay, so we talked about some of these stories here. I have another story I want to share, which is a happier story. And that is whenever I was 13, um, well, for my 13th birthday, I was just like, I want to do like a mom and son trip because my mom and I were the only ones who really liked traveling in our family, who really liked traveling. So we took a trip together to like the beach in South Carolina, and we went to see an IMAX movie called Bugs. with an exclamation point, narrated by Judi Dench. And Bugs in IMAX tells the story of a caterpillar named Papilio and a praying mantis named Herodula. And so they have their separate stories where they're born and they go through life, and Herodula meets his wife, and Papilio comes out, turns into a beautiful butterfly, and the second he turns into a butterfly, he meets Herodula, who kills Papilio and throws his body into the river. And then so Haraj is all happy and he's like, haha, I killed Papilio the butterfly. And he goes and he has sex with his wife. And immediately after they finish having sex, he cuts her head off, or she cuts his head off, and she eats it. And then that's the end of the movie. So it's like a it's like a brilliant horror movie in documentary form. But that's my segue into discussing bug horror movies in particular. Um, I do have another more traumatic cockroach story, but I'll share that later. So whenever I'm more ready to revisit that. Okay. I have some bug haikus for you. Everybody, I crafted some riddles about bugs. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to read the riddle, and whoever can guess what the riddle is, which bug the riddle is talking about, just shout it out, shout it out. And then we're going to share any movies we like related to that bug. Okay. Or you don't like, or any movies you want to talk about. So here is the first riddle. Some will be easier than others, I think. But here we go. Okay. Threads stretch in the moonlight. Silent architect waits near. A hush and a struggle. Okay. Any guesses?
Spider.
Yes. All right, it's good. 1 point for Mike. So, Mike, do you have any spider movies that you like?
Well, we'll just rip the Band-Aid off on this one. And since I alluded to it earlier about a movie that, no pun intended, gets under my skin and actually did kind of trigger some bugs that were not there. Uh, because if anybody has Shudder, there was a
Uh,
movie that came out in 2024, a French spider film called Infested. While it was a brilliant and amazing, beautiful movie, holy freaking shit. Oh, sorry. Holy crap.
What?
That
You could.
movie,
What the hell? This is not a PG channel.
this movie had so many spiders.
Yeah.
They were tiny, they were everywhere. And they will strike fear because it's a real like fear for a lot of people, spiders in general. But that they're gonna come crawling out of places that make you feel vulnerable.
Yep.
Showers, your bed, sinks, like everywhere you can think of, and it was an infestation. Um, there were just scenes where there was like thousands of them, tiny little ones, and it just like triggered me as I'm watching it. But I also just couldn't stop watching this movie because I think they just weaved it so perfectly. Like it was a top
Weaved.
film
Yeah.
for me.
Nice. The tangled web we weave. That's great. And that's a really good movie. It scared the crap out of me too. It actually triggered a specific memory I have from my childhood where I stepped on a big spider in the garage at night, and the bright light of the garage was shining right on the spider. And as I stepped on it, it released all the babies. And that was the first time I'd ever seen that. And it was like to this day I still get chills thinking about it because they crawled over my foot. They went into the distance, and it was just a nightmare. Yeah,
I
so
got chills
Infested
from
is good.
hearing the story.
Yeah. So anyway, that's another one. I got too many of these bug stories, unfortunately. But um, yeah. Any other spider movies?
Do you get any?
Um, No, I do want to add though, that is one I have seen because before
Oh,
coming on
okay.
here, I had already told you that I have not seen a lot of bug movies. I actually loved that one because of how hardcore it was, and it made me really excited for the Evil Dead movie that that director is going to be
Uh,
doing because of how badass it was. Um,
yes.
I did really enjoy that one. I also just love French horror as it is. I think they always go hard.
Yeah.
But we watched a very bad spider movie called Spider in the Attic,
Yeah.
which I
Oh
barely
shit, that was on my
remember.
list. That was on my list of movies that I was like, no one has seen that movie.
We bought it.
Yeah, we
Oh
bought it.
wow.
Really did not enjoy it. I honestly don't remember much about it. So,
It's so good.
Oh. Well,
Dave's like, I
okay.
loved
I'm gonna.
it.
No, no, no. I didn't love it. I don't think. Let me look at what I said about it on Letterboxd. But what I do remember about that movie is it was directed by Scott Chambers, who was the star of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2,
Oh,
Christopher Robin.
yeah, I didn't
Um,
know that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So it actually has Nicola Wright, who's in a lot of those Pooniverse type movies as well. So you recognize her. So that's the reason I watched it, because I'm watching like all of their movies, and
Oh, now I feel
I
bad
think
saying it.
I probably was a little more biased to like it because of that.
I remember the
So
ending of that movie, but that's about it. It ends with like a gigantic spider.
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
Spider in
yeah,
the
I
Attic.
did. I
Let's see.
remember that
I'm
now.
gonna have to
Yeah.
watch that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can
it's
probably pass.
No, no, no. He can watch it. Oh, it's produced by Reese Frank Waterfield too. So it is the Pooniverse people. Yep.
Okay, I did not know
Oh, and
that.
it's got a couple of other people from those movies. Okay, anyway, sorry, I'm gonna go down these rabbit holes. Okay, any spider movies? Brendan, I know you got a bunch.
I do got like a bunch of spider movies.
Rattle them off.
So I only made it halfway through like Tarantula from the 50s, I think from
Yeah.
55.
Ooh, yeah.
I meant to finish it this morning before I started work, but I did not get around to it, but I really loved it.
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
good one.
oh,
Yes.
it's I was really loving it too, and I just did I'm probably gonna finish it maybe after this. But I did manage to watch some old ones that I haven't seen yet, so and a new one, which I thought was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. But I watched Kingdom of Spiders starring
Oh, is
William
Shatner in
Shatner.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah.
It's
That's
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
I love it. William Shatner's just like a suave veterinarian in this little town. He's like a cowboy. Every woman wants him in it, and he's just loving every second of it.
That's
But it
that's so good.
but it's like it's a spider movie, but it's also like an anti-pesticides, like it's very environmental and message themed. Like it's about how the pesticides that has been protecting these crops have been killing off all the spiders' prey, so the spiders change their migrations and their feeding patterns in order for them to survive. So they like no naturally will eat each other and that, but now they congregate and they attack in like packs. So like they eat cows and dogs and cats, and then they work their way up to people. And by the end of it, this movie like must have been like heavily inspired by the birds because it has like the exact
Oh
same sort
yeah.
of ending. You get the three survivors and they're in this building, and then they get a zoom out of the outside and the surrounding area, and the whole like desert is just covered in cobwebs with nothing else in sight. Yeah, it's a
Yep.
beautiful map painting.
That's awesome. It's like I'm sure it is from the birds. I think the birds really started a lot of this nature fights back type thing, or connected the idea of animals that are causing harm to humans as in a message for environmentalism, or environmentalist themes. So you see that a lot in these types of movies too.
Okay, this is it's hard not to talk about eight-legged freaks because I love that, but I have a feeling that you might bring that one up.
No, talk about any movie no, no, you talk
Okay.
about whatever you want. I talk about what's left over.
Okay. I love eight-legged freaks. This is one of my like childhood
I
movies,
love
like
it.
eight-legged
Yeah.
freaks. I think I don't remember how I got a VHS copy of it as a kid, but I wore the shit out of that out. And I think it's like this perfect B movie like homage to the 50s insect movies, especially now that went back and watched a few of them, and
Yep.
just how cheesy and ridiculous, and you got all these amazing character actors in it. And that this one's more of like a radioactive story towards the spiders, which I think is great. The effects don't hold up anymore, but like they have such a cool
Yep.
variety of spiders in that
Is this
movie.
David Arquette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen this one.
No,
Oh,
you will. Oh, you gotta watch
It's
that,
on my
man.
list. I do need to watch it.
It's
is
so
Scarlett Johansson in it?
yes, it's got
Yeah.
ScarJo in like an early role.
That's
Wasn't
one I
that her
actually do
first
want to see.
movie?
I just haven't.
I can't
Who?
remember if that was her first movie or not, but yeah, she was in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they got such a cool variety of spiders. They got the jumping spiders, they got the weaver spiders, tarantulas, black widows, all kinds of different. The burrowing spiders too. But I love the jumping spiders because jumping spiders are actually a cute looking little spider
Yeah.
because
Are they though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
they
are, Mike.
are.
If you look at his face, it's cute.
Yeah, they are cute. I think what also helps is that there's this like little spider cartoon video of a little jumping spider, and his I can't remember what his name is, but it's voiced by like an adorable little kid. So it just made them even cuter for me.
Yeah,
Um,
there
but
you go.
my last spider movie is Big Ass Spider.
Oh, yes.
I've never
Yes.
seen it before, and this movie is unintentionally one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It's so
It's it's so bad it's good. And like
Oh,
the
that
act
movie.
I can't remember what the lead actor's name is that plays, but he's like he's a fairly big producer. He's been in a lot of Star Wars stuff
Yeah.
and Marvel.
Well,
But it is so funny. He's just like this exterminator that tries to be the king shit, but he's not at all. He's like a hopeless romantic too. He's just trying to find love, and he ends up partnering up with like a Mexican security guard. So there's like a lot of that back and forth between the two of them. Ray Wise is in it
Yes,
as like
that's
the
like I was
general.
so happy when I saw that.
I'll
Me
watch
too.
anything with him in it.
Yes, exactly.
He's got great line delivery. Like the effects are like B movie. It's a movie called Big Ass Spider. If you're
Yeah.
expecting fantastic effects, like yeah, that's just on you. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, those were some of the like those were all the Spider movies that I would have liked to have talked about.
Absolutely. Eight-Legged Freaks is up there in my upper echelon of bug movies, and it hit at the right time. Because when it came out, I think I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something, and it was just like the perfect movie. And I remember we got the DVD, and on the DVD it came with a short film. Um, and it has like a really creepy spider moment. It's a short spider film. It's just like this woman's in her house, and the spider gets on her back. But they do some really good jump scares in that short movie. And I highly recommend it if you ever have the DVD for Eight-Legged Freaks. It's so good. It's such a good movie. And Big Ass Spider, one of my favorite things about that was on my list for sure. Um, my favorite thing about Big Ass Spider is the opening scene of that movie because it's like it takes you by surprise because you're like in the midst of this war in the city and you don't really know what's going on, and there's like helicopters and army men and this guy in his exterminator suit like looking like John Goodman from Arachnophobia. But it's Greg Grunberg, I think. He was in Lost and some other shows, Heroes and things like that. But and then the song "Where's My Mind" by the Pixies is playing, but it's some cover that's been slowed down a lot, um, and like sung in this really soothing, peaceful way. So it's crazy because, and then it like pans up as it's like singing the song, and you look up and there's this huge spider attacking the city. It's like it's such a great opening scene.
I loved it. I think you would have liked it for how bad it was. Like it's definitely one of those so bad it's good.
Okay, let me put it on my letterbox
Yeah.
watch
And it's
list.
not very long either.
Big
My
ass
parents
spider.
are the ones who recommended that to me, and that's how I knew I had good parents. I was like, yes, they know my tastes. Oh, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This is just a random point, but I think the reason that there's so much like kind of dark, sadistic stuff in that, like the people who created it were Stuart Gordon and Brian Usna. So it's like two horror masters coming up with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Of course, they're going to see the horror in giant insects, you know?
Oh, it's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that either, but that makes sense now.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I was just blown away by that. Okay. Let's go to another riddle. Okay. If you know what it is, just shout it out. Soft hum in the dark. A needle's kiss on warm skin. Ghost of the itch remains.
Mosquito?
Yes, mosquitoes.
There you go.
Ah.
Nice. Good job, Sam. Do you have any mosquito movies that you've heard of or that you've seen or anything you want to say about mosquitoes?
Just my life. I work with mosquitoes. Like I don't work with mosquitoes.
What?
Mosquitoes work with me. I work with plants, and there's
Oh, wow.
mosquitoes that breed in the water. So we will have in the summer, it's worse because it's so muggy, and I will look down at my legs if I'm wearing shorts and have like 20 mosquitoes on my legs at all times. It's hell. So we have to like find these sprays that are probably not healthy for us, but we don't care. And we spray the warehouse. It's just my sister and I there usually. So we're just like, fuck it. Let's spray these bitches. And we just have the door open to air it out. Like they just breed in the water and it's like nothing we can do about it. They just
Yeah.
do it. Like and that when
Ooh.
we get rid of all our plants and the next shipment comes in, it dies down a little bit. It's nice and quiet. There's no mosquitoes, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, they're all back again. That's the only mosquitoes I got in my life. I haven't watched any mosquito movies.
I think you have plenty of mosquitoes in your life from the sounds of it. Like here in Florida, we've got loads, like I go run on the trails and the swamps, and sometimes you don't go right after the storm or you don't go during particular parts of the year because you know there's going to be like hordes. And it's like you describe, and you could just, you know, you have like 1,000 mosquitoes on your back, and you're like, get me. It's like you feel like everything on your body tingling when you said there's 20 mosquitoes on my that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, well you get a pass for not seeing any mosquito movies. Um, so, uh, anybody have any mosquito movies?
I only have one. I only know of one mosquito movie.
What is it?
It is Mosquito.
Oh,
I
shock.
think what, 80s or like early 90s?
Early 90s, yeah, I think so.
Um, Mosquito. I don't even know all of it. I do know that movie. I know I have it on Blu-ray somewhere. Like, because that was a B movie that was fun. It's just like I don't know if they ended up being like chemically induced mosquitoes or something, or like something ended up happening, but like they get humongous and then they just start killing people. And I just remember seeing these oversized mosquitoes just flying, and I remember watching it as a kid, and I loved B-type movie. So I love monster flicks. I love creature features. I grew up on those. So I don't know why I gravitated to them. It might have been just, like you said, the little bit of cheesiness, schlockiness to them that I just love. And Mosquito's there for me. Like,
Yeah.
it is hilarious. It's, I wouldn't even say it's like so bad it's good. I think it's just treading the line of it's good, but not really good. But it's not like bad, bad.
Is
Yeah.
this the one there's a scene with a girl in a tent? And I said something about like, oh, I like that movie, and then you're like, the whole movie's not like that, and I was like, okay, never mind. So I
Yeah.
didn't end up watching
Yeah.
it.
That might be it. Yeah.
It has some great scenes in that. And I often wonder, oh, it has fucking what's his name from it has Leatherface in it
Yeah,
from
Gunnar Hansen's in it.
Gunnar Hansen, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he fucking comes through with a giant ass chainsaw at one point, like breaks down the door, comes at the mosquitoes with the chainsaw, wielding it around like he's Leatherface. I love that.
Yeah.
It's just
He
so
does
cheesy
have a
and fun.
chainsaw.
Yeah,
It's trademark.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
in
that movie
Hollywood
so
Chainsaw
much.
Hookers, he's got this chainsaw.
Hmm.
That's funny.
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long. I love that movie. That's okay. Oh, popcorn. This okay. So let me ask you this, Mike. in pop, have you seen Popcorn?
It's been a while. I have seen it.
Okay, so Brendan, I saw you nodding. Popcorn, do you remember the sequence where they have the mosquito short movie in there?
Yeah, I don't remember the movies that well. I remember the gimmick that was
Yeah.
used more than the actual
Oh, okay.
movie itself. So the
Right.
gimmick was is they had a giant mosquito attached to like this cable and they would like whip it across the theater while people are watching the movie and it would scare them.
Right.
It's such a like expensive gimmick, it seems. But the mosquito, so I was watching Mosquito after I watched Popcorn. It just so happens they had put them up like right next to each other on Amazon a while ago. And I was like, there's so many scenes in Mosquito that seem like they were drawn directly from that short film in Popcorn, like almost deaths, kill scenes that are almost the same. And it made me wonder if they were related, and I couldn't find any information that they were related at all. I was like, it just seems impossible that they didn't see that, you know? And it just turned
So
out they had the same kills.
Popcorn came out first, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking it inspired the movie Mosquito,
That, yeah, I have no proof
but
for
you
that
just
Yeah.
except my own
okay,
eyeballs.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Any ideas?
I don't know. I think for like the movie Mosquito itself, I think it's okay. I wasn't like I wish I would have seen it at a younger age because I
Hmm.
think it would have helped solidify my appreciation for it. But I feel like this movie could have been so much more than what it was. I think all the mosquito effects and stuff like that are really cool, but like Gunnar Hansen is just awful in this movie. Uh, the man is not a good actor. Love him as Leatherface, but in my personal opinion, the man is not a great actor.
No comment.
Maybe a
Um,
hot take. But like most of the movie is just like a kidnapping, and
Yeah.
you get mosquitoes kind of thrown in there throughout the mix. The mosquitoes almost had because I watched the special features. There's this park that you see the aftermath of all these tents torn to shreds and like bodies all over the ground and stuff like that. And there was supposed to be a sequence where we see the mosquitoes doing this, but they didn't have the budget for it. And I feel like if they
that's
had
what we
the
needed.
budget,
Yeah.
That would have
yeah,
been
Yeah.
that would have amped up my love for that movie a lot more. But yeah,
Ooh,
like the
they could
effects are
remake
fairly
it.
good.
They
Yeah,
should
remake
remake
would be
it.
good.
Yep. That's one of those movies. I'm not always like remake it, remake it. That's one that could get a remake, I think. There's another one we'll talk about later that I think could get a remake. But yeah, man, there's some disappointing things, but there's some really good kills in Mosquito as well.
Like same with talking about the tent is good kill and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I like anytime they poke someone in the head through the vehicle. And they did that again in the movie Jumanji, their first Jumanji. Do you remember that when um, they're driving in the car and they're getting attacked by these giant mosquitoes and they poke through the top of
oh
the car like that? I don't know if that's
Yeah,
related to it.
that's a throwback.
Given how much like mosquitoes are like one of the more common insects and they come in swarms and like again, they're a huge nuisance. Like they bite you, you swell up, all this stuff. You're itchy, it hurts, all this stuff. You would think, especially in the B movie era and the creature feature stuff, I'm shocked that there weren't more mosquito horror as opposed to other
Right.
insects that got more horror films. Unless I just missed them all, but like I feel like mosquito is probably the most known mosquito horror film.
is it the
I can't think
underseen?
of another one. Are there any others?
I can't either. You said swarm, but I thought I've seen like the title for that movie, and I assumed it was a swarm of bees.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's bees. Yeah.
I think it's either bees
Yeah.
or locusts. I don't think it's mosquitoes.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't think
Yeah,
I've
that
seen
seems
another
ripe for
mosquito
it.
movie.
There's sometimes in horror subgenres where I was like, if you know me, I'm always talking about why don't we have a fucking hippo horror movie? Um, like there's hippos in horror movies, but there's not a hippo horror movie. And I even direct message Greg McLean the director, because I was like, he would be good at it, and I was like, I would love it if you made a hippo horror movie. That's so stupid. Don't do that, people. I was
I
probably
think
drunk.
so. Listen, we've gotten
I
a movie
Oh,
about a
loads of them.
boar. We've
Yeah,
gotten so many croc and alligator movies. Like, why not a hippo?
it's time.
Yeah.
Time for the
I
hippo.
googled mosquito horror movies and I got Mosquito, The Mosquito Coast, Mosquito State, Mosquito Man, Killer Mosquitoes,
Oh,
Mosquito
oh,
Lady,
that's
All
okay.
right.
Skeeter, Mosquito Man again,
Skeeter.
Insectula.
I like- Oh, I think
I,
I saw Skeeter. That sounds
Did you?
familiar. Maybe I did
all
Skeeter
see
right.
looks
that.
familiar to me too.
I've
Now,
got
many
homework
hungry
to
real
do.
estate developers
Yeah,
are
that's awesome.
recklessly disposing of massive amounts of toxic waste in old mines. The consequences are both unexpected and disastrous. The chemicals cause the local mosquito population to morph into giant, terrifying beasts. They're thirsty for human blood.
Sounds
There
like a
you
watch
go.
party to me.
It looks awesome actually. Like they got practical effects skeeters in it. It's from the 90s, like Tremors era. This is good.
What's insectual? It's a
Insectula?
insectula.
Giant insects from outer space are drawn to Earth in search for blood.
Yep.
Yes. This is
I got that one
awesome.
down too.
Into
Thank
it.
you, Sam.
You're welcome.
That's great. The 90s were so good for this. Um, okay. What were we doing? Okay, let's do another haiku riddle. This one's hard, but you can get it. Okay, here we go. Clutching without haste, a silent thief beneath the fur. Feast without a face.
Yes.
Ticks?
Yes.
You guys are good at this shit. I suck at riddles.
Well, I thought of dogs, like under the fur
Yeah,
and
the fur.
clutching.
Yep.
I'm like, right away,
Nice.
I'm like, get away from my dog.
That's the worst when you find them on you just like it's like a sinking feeling in your gut. One time I found 6 fucking ticks on Judy after we hiked like in the deep woods somewhere, and I just felt horrible, you know?
Yeah.
No joke. That's the ticks are the reason why, not just me being a lazy person, ticks are the reason why I don't go hiking.
Oh,
God, there I
I'm
have
so
some
afraid of ticks.
yeah, yeah. I had a tick one time. I've had lots of ticks, but I've had the worst one was whenever I went hiking. I was in Memphis. Like, there's a forest outside of Memphis where I would go, and I always went off the trail because I wanted to not be around the other people. So I would go up and do all these crazy things. Anyway, I always checked myself when I got back for that reason, and I didn't find anything. But then 4 days later, I was in the shower and I was washing my hair, and I felt this big bump on the back of my head, and I was like, "What is that?" And so I had my girlfriend look back there, and she was like, "Now don't panic." So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna panic. But anyway, yeah, it was a fat motherfucker, and it had 4 days on the back there to feast on my flesh, and luckily it didn't give me
terrified
any
of them.
Lyme disease. But have you seen ticks? That's the real question.
I know I have. I probably haven't seen it since I was like a kid. Because most
Okay.
of my bug movies were under the age of 14. Uh, I do remember seeing it because, again, any of the larger insect horror movies, like the ones that are widely known, definitely cross them off my list.
Yeah.
It's probably a movie that I never chose to revisit. Uh,
Why?
but I probably would want to now, because like I said, they're fun, they're cheesy. I do need to rewatch it at some point.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be harder for me to watch because I watched it when I was in the woods and I was camping in my van. Um, and because of my traumatic experiences with ticks in the past. But I didn't find it to be that difficult. And I think part of it was because they blow up the ticks so big that they're less scary. Because part of what makes them scary is that they're so small and hard to
So
find.
little, yeah.
But I think, Brendan, you've seen ticks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it last Christmas, was it? After last Christmas? I went through a phase last year
Oh,
of
I watched a lot
watching
of bug
bug
movies.
movies, and Ticks was one of them. Um, this movie, like, it's okay. I definitely didn't mind it. Is Seth Green in this movie? Or
Yeah, so Seth Green is in it, and what's his name? Alfonso Rivera.
yeah, Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Of all, I was like,
Yeah,
this cast
I
is
was.
crazy. Oh,
I,
and Clint Howard.
yeah. Oh, Clint Towers in the beginning. Yeah. So like
Yeah,
the ticks get super big from steroids
yeah,
at Clint Howard's house.
yeah,
And then they get super big.
I think, again, specifically with like these types of insect movies, it helps make you're less afraid of them because, especially like mosquito too, as annoying as mosquitoes are, like they're blowing these insects up to a hilarious size where, like you said, the scariest part about them is their actual size, that they're hard to find. You can't see them, which I think going back to the whole spider thing, why to me, like Infested in 2024 was a stronger movie than like Sting, which was about one super large spider. Um, but Infested hit the right way because they kept to what makes spiders scary. And it's that you don't know where they're at. I feel like if ticks was about like, well, just some type of killer ones that you can't see, that becomes a little bit more terrifying because you're watching it, and especially like you said, if you're watching it, you're camped out in the woods. Now you're kind of just second guessing everything around you. But I think, yeah, blowing them up to a larger size is what makes it more easier to watch.
yes. But then you do have a problem if you didn't. If you made them the normal size, you wouldn't be able to see them uh, in a movie. So that's also kind of a problem to some
You
degree. But
you can find
I
a way to
think,
make it work. They did with
yeah,
Infested.
true. Yes, but that, yeah, Infested was just so good. Are these practical spiders Infested? I can't remember.
They were real spiders.
Yeah, I thought so.
They
Okay.
used
They
So
actual
could,
real spiders.
for a tick
trained
movie,
spiders,
if
right?
they wanted to keep the ticks small, they could almost go like a body horror direction with it, where like people start finding them on them and then nasty
Yeah,
shit starts happening to
there's like
them.
swarms of them for some reason. But yeah, that could be another thing why, because when ticks are born, there are like 3,000 of them. And they just sit there and they wait for something to pass by. And nine times out of 10, nothing does. All of them die, except for one, maybe. So they have a terrifying existence, which is like they're born alone and they die hungry. That's it.
I feel like you could make a case to make a unique tick, vampire style tick movie.
Ooh, ooh, yeah, I can see that. I mean, ticks are terrifying. You know, if you blow up a tick, it should be terrifying, actually. Um, Whenever you think about it, because those things that attach themselves to you, you can't get them off. If you like ripped one of those things, it should rip your face off. That is like that would be awesome. I think they should remake ticks.
That's, yeah, I feel like they could remake that one.
Damien Leone, remake ticks. This is our message. Because you saw how easily Art the Clown ripped off what's her name's face in Terrifier 2. So Damien can make it happen in Ticks 1, the remake. Okay, let's go to our next haiku. And here we go. I'm going to skip that one because we already talked about that creature. So we'll go here. Marching never alone. Whispers building empires below. Crumbs are kingdoms here.
Ants.
Ants. Yeah, that was a hard one.
Classic.
Okay. So I are there oh, I would say my earliest bug horror movie memory is them. Um, which of course is one of the top bug horror movies ever. Um, have you all seen them?
Love it.
Yep, me too. I actually
Love,
just watched
love,
it for the
love
first time.
it.
Yeah, amazing. So okay, we'll talk about what do you all think about them?
Again, large, large insects. what really, really got me about that one is I feel like them is what got me into Godzilla movies
Oh wow, yeah.
because I found such a correlation between the two of them. My dad was a huge Godzilla fan, but they were like the ones that he liked, black and white. It looked so cheap, cheesy, and in a way that I just didn't really want to see it. But then I saw them, and I don't know what it was about that movie that just struck me. And I just found it hilarious. I found it terrifying. I liked the destruction in it so much. And my dad saw how much I enjoyed this, and he goes, "Please just watch Godzilla." He goes, "You'll like it." And so, because of that movie, I started watching Godzilla movies. So I correlate those two a lot.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, kaiju bugs, it's a great thing, and then it also seems like a natural thing because people are so afraid of what would happen if they became enormous. But do you have any special memories with them, Brendan?
No, not really, because I just watched it for the first time.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it was my first time watch. I really enjoyed it. 1955. So this is uh like this and tarantula and I don't know if we're gonna end up talking about mantises or not, but like the giant mantis, all these
Oh, sure.
gigantism and
Yeah,
insect movies all stemmed from Godzilla because this is the atomic B movie monster era where
yeah.
everything became super large, like the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and stuff like that. But them is really great. I really love them. I was very impressed by how fast it flew by, how I liked all the characters. Um, the effects actually were pretty good. For like these old B movies, you go one way or the other, which is like gigantic practical effects, or you go with um CGI and getting close up shots of it and then blowing it
Right.
up onto the big screen, which was what they did with Tarantula.
Yep.
And I actually prefer the practical effects because I think they do look great and they're real and they're there and you have something for the actors to work against. But them was great. I actually didn't think I was gonna enjoy it as much as I did, so I'm very happy I was able to fit that in before this.
Are there any other ant movies?
There's some.
So I have one.
Oh, yes. So go ahead.
I have one that I love and that I don't hear enough people talk about. I don't even think a lot of people know this exists. And it's
Ooh,
shocking when I tell you who is in this movie.
who is
Uh,
it? Or what
Tom
is it?
Arnold,
Okay.
Jake Busey, Sean Astin, and a young Sydney Sweeney.
Shut up.
Oh, what the hell? Wait, an
Jesus.
ant
And
movie?
I
this
love her.
movie is from 2017. So this is
What?
before Euphoria.
What is
It is
this?
called Dead Ants. And it is about this rock band. It's a metal horror ants movie.
You sold me. Sydney
What?
Sweeney,
I
metal
I
horror
know
ant
about
movie.
this
I'm
movie.
done.
I've never
People
seen it, but I
need
know
to
about it.
watch this.
What's it
It
That's
about?
is
awesome.
the
Dead ants.
ultimate insect horror, like what we love of the 50s B
Dead ants.
insect horror. You need to be watching Dead
That's
Ants, and I need
amazing.
to put everybody on this movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank
Because,
you,
like,
Mike.
especially the fact that Sydney Sweeney has blown up within the past few years, and nobody knows that she did a bee insect horror film.
Yeah, that's on the
That
list.
is insane. I can't
I
believe I
found
haven't
this.
heard of that.
Shout out to Horror Pack. The only reason why I knew this, it's a Blu-ray horror subscription box that I used to subscribe to. And so I have a large Blu-ray collection, but it's made up of, sorry, Horror Pack, I love you guys, I do, but it's a lot of really bad movies.
Okay.
It's like everything they found in the $5 Walmart bins and stuff. But Dead Ants was a lovely surprise. Something I was
Is
like,
it
oh, we pop this in. I love this movie. It is
It looks
bad.
like practical ants.
It is
Is that
good
right?
bad.
And they're going to
And,
Coachella,
huh?
and they're going to Coachella
Yeah.
in the movie.
And it's just this
The
metal band. There's just so much in it. It
That's
is
so good.
wild.
That's great, Mike. Well, you get the bug award for best recommendation because that was
And
like
there's a
perfect.
toilet kill, and I love toilet kills.
Like not bug coming up in the toilet kill. Is
No.
okay, that's a hard one for me. But okay, I got you. That's awesome. It also says if people who like this also like Uncle Peckerhead, which I really liked. Have you seen that?
Yes, I love Uncle Peckerhead, so it tracks.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. Is that the same director?
That I don't know.
No. Okay, sorry, I'm going off into tangent. Okay. Let's go to our next riddle. Or are there any other ant movies? Sorry, I keep doing this.
There's one other ant movie, and it is
Yes,
The Empire of
of
Ants.
ants. Oh, thank you.
Also came out around the same time as The Kingdom of Spiders in the 70s, except they do not go the practical route, and instead they decide to do close-ups and CGI the ants in, and the
I
ants.
have a soft spot for that. I don't know why.
Oh, it's so bad. The ants are all over the place. There's ants that are like they're supposed to be walking in a straight line, but instead one ant decides to say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna try to climb up the glass." In the scene, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the ant's just all of a sudden pressed up against, like he looks like he's doing a handstand
Oh, that's amazing.
in the scene. Like it's fine. The movie's like actually pretty rinse and repeat, kind of boring because like it's a lot of these people kind of walking, trying to find civilization because the ants are leading them to the sugar plant, and there's something to do with pheromones, and the queen ant has like tricked the whole town with her pheromones in order to protect her. So like this town is like smuggling in all this sugar to feed this army of giant ants. Like it's
It's great.
fucking ridiculous. And two in shots, there's two different breeds of ants commingling, and that's just not how ants work. So like they would be like at battle with each other while these
Right.
people are walking through. And I'm like, this movie is just not clicking. It's got some fun, like good characters in there actually, but like this, I couldn't get past the effects because I just came off of watching Kingdom of Spiders, and I was like, yes, this is gonna be just like that because it's made in the same time, and I'm gonna be super excited. And I was let down. Movie is like an hour and 25 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, and it felt like two for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's hard.
Yes.
Inedible and Empire of the Ants sounds like on my to-do list.
Yeah,
Hey, you might have
that's
fun with
that's
it.
great. I mean, it sounds good for me too, honestly. And I really do have a soft spot for those, like the Attack of the Gila Monster or whatever that was. And they did that thing where they blew it up, and it's just like it's clearly just that normal size, but it's really big. I love that.
I'm sure there probably is, but I'm surprised there's not a more widely known like them making a ant horror movie about fire ants. Because
Yeah,
those
what
are
the
actually
fuck?
Yeah.
that's just written for you. That's a
Yeah,
real
that's
ant,
like
that's a real insect that causes damage, and it's just gifted for the horror community, and everybody's just like, nah, we'll just use regular black ants.
Were fire ants used in the Scorpion King with the Rock?
Oh, I
I
don't
don't
remember.
know. I
I
do
haven't
know
seen
they
that in
were
so
used
long.
in D3 Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
What?
I forgot about that too.
Have you
I
ever
don't
seen the
know.
Mighty Ducks movies?
Is that the
Oh my
hockey
god.
ones?
Yeah. I don't
Yes,
know,
yes.
maybe.
They're from like the 90s. It's the kids' hockey movies. And in the third
Yeah.
one, they go to this prep school and they're fighting with the preppy kids. And they end up putting fire ants in all the rooms. And it's just a really fun sequence. But anytime I think of ants, I think of that movie.
Oh,
Really?
I feel like I've seen one of those movies, but I don't remember that. So it might have just been the first one.
Yeah, it's got Charlie Sheen's brother in it, right?
Yeah, Emilio Estevez.
Amelia
Yep.
Estevez. Yeah, that's it.
But spiders, I mean, ants are truly scary and terrifying. And they should do a red ant thing, and they should do all kinds of ants because they're twisted little fuckers, you know? And if they were as big as we are, we would be totally fucked and done for. So let's go to our next uh riddle. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's not the one. Okay. Landed, rubbing hands, secrets whispered in the dust, always watching you. That's a hard
Flies.
one. Oh, you got it. Okay.
What was
You're
it?
good
Rubbing
at this, Sam.
hands.
Oh, yeah,
Flies.
that's right. Flies, rubbing the
Oh.
Yeah, we're good
hands
at this.
like
They rub their
this.
hands.
Hmm.
Yeah, like little weirdos.
So, Sam, let me ask you this. Are there any horror movies about flies?
Oh, I've seen The Fly. I can say that now.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Which
you
one?
go.
Just watched it for the first time, but it was for a watch along. So I had a
Oh,
hard
okay.
time actually watching it. Like it's hard to
Hmm.
do a watch along for your first time watch because you're trying to interact with the chat as well as your guests on the screen. So it's kind of distracting. Plus we had to watch it with subtitles because we can't have copyright going on with YouTube, so we can't have the sound playing through. So as I did get to sort of see it and I did enjoy it and I think I gave it like a 4 star, but I do have to do a rewatch.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I know
that makes
that's
sense.
I guess it's like it's not like about a bunch of flies, but it's still the fly.
It is. It is a big fly, right?
Yeah, it's got good like special effects and stuff and good story. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the fly, Brendan?
Oh, I love The
He
Fly.
loves it.
The Fly is great. It's just masterclass remake cinema in general. Um, the effects are fantastic. The Brindle Fly is an absolutely astonishing piece of practical effects. And I think the original is also kind of a classic. I've seen probably about 3/4 of it, but never seen the whole thing all the way through, I don't think. But I'd be curious to go
You
back
need to
now
get to the
and
end,
rewatch.
Brendan.
Which
I love the original Fly,
Yeah.
and the if you want peak camp crazy off the wall shit, you need to watch the sequel to the original Fly.
The Return in the Fly.
It has one of the it is one of the silliest pieces of cinema ever.
Okay. I have the
And it
box set.
actually
I just
was,
haven't
I
watched it.
can't remember which movie, a Disney movie parodied it. And I think it was Empire's New Groove or Emperor's New Clothes, New Groove or whatever. I can't remember which one, but I do know that there is a Disney cartoon that parodies this movie, and I need to find out which one.
Oh, wow.
But that piece, the end of The Fly 2 is just off the wall bonkers.
Wait, is it the first fly, the very original fly, where it ends where he's like, help me?
That's the second
Or is
one.
that's the second one? Okay, that's what
Oh,
I'm
that's
thinking of.
just. Oh, okay. I
That
didn't know that. I thought
is
that was the
one
first one.
of,
I swear I
that's
thought
what
that.
I thought.
Okay,
Yeah, because
maybe it's the first one then. I
Because to me,
it's in
that's one of the
French, right?
most memorable endings of all time. Because it's so out there, like silly and hilarious. Like when I was a kid, that stuck with me so much. My mom and I would go around and be like, help me," walking around the house, because it was like so hilarious to us. But it's terrifying at the same time. Can you fucking imagine? You're stuck as a bug in that world as the thing that's not supposed to be there. That's really bad, even though it's funny.
I went on the ride at The Fly at Canada's Wonderland.
Yep. Is it
Did you go
related
on
to
that?
the fly?
No.
I think it was because all their rides were named after like had to do with movies
Yeah, back then.
back
Oh,
then. Yeah,
wow.
Not anymore.
Oh, the
don't know
fly
it
is
anymore.
David Cronenberg, Canadian. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, it would like whip you around corners. You'd be in this little buggy and it would just like whip you around corners like crazy.
That's
Like
awesome.
that's what it was known for.
Oh, okay.
Whipping you around like a fly, I guess. Like you're buzzing around, right?
I don't like roller coasters, dude.
No, you don't. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That okay. Well, the yes, I love The Fly. Are there any other Fly movies though? I can't
There
really think of them.
probably are. They're probably not great.
You can't make a Fly movie after the Fly movies that have been made that
Yeah.
we just talked about. It's like there's both of them are so like iconic, so it's hard to go back into that. How else would you make a Fly movie? You
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
No, I think no, you can't do anything. And as much as how, like, we know at some point they're going to remake every movie under the sun, I really, I just hope that they stick to the fact that Cronenberg's The Fly was a remake and just stay
Yeah,
away from it because
yeah,
I don't think you can, I think you can do anything, almost anything. I don't feel that that needs any retouching. Like,
no,
The Fly is a perfect movie to me. Like, that is a perfect movie.
yeah. I agree with that. And it's also deeply, we're talking about David Cronenberg's version,
Yeah.
deeply emotional. I don't ever watch that movie because I cry like a baby all the time when I watch it. So
And I think the
it's,
sequel's underrated.
I don't think I saw that actually.
The Fly
I haven't seen
2,
it either.
I don't I don't think it's a bad movie. I do enjoy it.
Let's go to our next. We just talked about flies, and I think that's the last of them. I have one more riddle actually, so let me go ahead and read it here. Time's last refugee. Born beneath the broken beams, their shadows scuttle fast.
My favorite, not my favorite bug, but because of what we're going to talk about, I hope, cockroaches.
Yes. Oh, why do you hope for that?
Oh.
That's my nightmare.
So I in real life absolutely hate cockroaches. Like, oh my God, I am terrified. Hate them, hate them, hate them. But one of my favorite movies of all time
Ooh.
is The Mimic or Mimic. Guillermo del Toro,
Absolutely. Yeah.
cockroach mutant movie. So fantastic. I love this. I think again, late 90s, early 2000s movie. Um, super buggy, uh, crazy, another chemically enhanced uh, bug cockroach. I think the premise was basically they were developing a super bug cockroach to kill, like, I think it was based in New York, and they were trying to get the rat infestation under control. So they created a super cockroach to kill these rats, but then they didn't realize that they were growing and then they were becoming a problem. And they thought that they were going to isolate and kill them. Some miss, and then chaos ensues. I love this movie. But another movie I love and is a guilty pleasure of mine is Mimic 2.
I
They
didn't even
throw,
know there was a mimic too.
there's three. I haven't seen the third one, but two throws in the weirdest
Oh no.
romantic subplot
Not with a roach.
because the mimic, this cockroach, actually starts to mimic a person. And this
Oh.
woman who's so infatuated with these bugs, like she has a fascination with this, that it starts to get a little weird. And that's all I'm gonna say. I need everybody to watch this movie.
Oh, that sounds great actually.
And yeah, I never thought I'd be watching a cockroach love story.
Well, I mean, that sounds pretty good. Roaches seem to be a fascination. Like, I think you'd find roaches in so many movies for a gross out effect. Like whether it's putting people in a room full of them and they're all over their body. We've seen that in lots of horror movies. Or if they're eating them accidentally or something like that, that seems to happen a lot. One of my earliest cockroaches was in Men in Black with Edgar the Bug, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, which is just one of the most underrated comedic performances, I think, because it's just so good. But the way they do that with his skin coming off and like it's not fitting on his cockroach body perfectly, and I just love that cockroach. Do you have any other cockroaches?
Same.
The only other cockroach movie I have, it's not horror, but it's horrific to me, is do you guys remember Joe's Apartment?
I
I've
don't think
heard of it.
so.
I've never seen it.
Let me see.
It's more of a comedic movie about this guy who basically has an infestation of roaches who have personalities in his apartment.
My God, I don't remember that at all. It's a
No.
musical?
No, I think it's just a comedy.
Oh, okay. Well, it says comedy musical on IMDb. Maybe there's
Is there
music in
music in it? I
it.
don't. I just remember like watching it once
Oh,
and I was grossed out because cockroaches are disgusting. And those were
okay.
gross looking cockroaches. Like the mimic, it looks like a monster.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were cockroaches and they were gross and ugly.
Yeah, that's I have super trauma with the cockroach because um one time because I used to live in some really old homes and so you just get bugs every now and then. But one time I grabbed my towel after I was done showering like that and ripped it off, and as soon as I did, I saw there was the biggest roach I'd ever seen in my life. Just flew off of it. So it's a palmetto bug, and it just like landed on my face like that, like just like,
Oh.
and I like, yeah, I
Burn the
lost
house
it.
down.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I don't really have a problem with bugs. I don't have a problem with spiders. I don't have a problem with bees anymore. Mosquitoes I can't stand. Ticks I can't stand for obvious reasons. But cockroaches, they just give me the willies.
Yeah.
Hmm. From all the like the movies we're talking about and all the faces you're making and from all the stories, I'm surprised you don't like bug movies.
I'm gonna watch Dead Ants or Dead Ant or
Hell
whatever.
yeah.
The band and Sydney Sweeney. I don't know. I just haven't. I don't know. I got to be in the mood for that kind of thing. A couple of these I've been intrigued by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think I've seen any cockroach movies. Like when I think of cockroaches on TV, I think of Fear Factor
yeah.
when they
Oh
like put
yeah.
their head in something and there's a bunch of roaches or whatever. Like I could never.
Sure. Or Survivor where they had to eat them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Could you eat a
Um,
cockroach on Survivor?
could I eat one?
Yeah. What do you think?
No, 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 no. Like
Okay.
even MTV's The Challenge, where they have to eat like buffalo testicles and like all that nasty stuff. Like I could never do these eating challenges. I would puke.
Yeah, when people are like, "There's $100,000 on the line," I'm like, "I'm not eating a bug willingly."
No.
I'm
Right. I mean, well, okay, never mind. If there's $100,000 on the line, I am eating a bug willingly for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
not.
in
Sign me
fact,
up.
it would be less than that. Too. It'd be pretty. You could go pretty low, I would say.
I lost my shit when I found out little fun fact of like in your whole life you eat like at least seven spiders. That,
Oh, when you're sleeping.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
thought
was
it was
like,
like
once I
seven
found
per
that
year.
out, again, I had nightmares that there were eggs inside of me.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Yeah,
So, no, I'm not eating a bug willingly.
that's okay. That's fine. That's understandable. When I was in, or Sam, whenever you go to Thailand, you could try one of their tarantulas over there. Or was that in?
Oh,
Oh no, that was Cambodia. They had, but I'm sure they have them in Thailand too. You could get tarantulas as like on a stick.
deep fried tarantulas.
No
Yeah,
thanks. No thanks. Do they
I
still
just
look like a
say you go to.
tarantula
Yeah.
with the legs
Oh
and
yeah,
everything? Like
it's kind of a
fried?
tourist thing. It's not like they just love eating it. They kind of do it for a tourist thing, you know.
To laugh at
Um,
them.
uh, yeah, pretty much. But the it actually saying Thailand reminded me of a Thai bug horror movie that I fucking love, and no one has seen it really. But maybe Brendan had. I think I may have talked to you about it before. Creepy Crawly. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it. I own it. I haven't seen it. I totally forgot about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Watch it sometime. I think it's great. And it's really unique because it's the first horror movie I saw that was like a proper COVID quarantine. It's about people in quarantine at a hotel. And so whenever they're there, there's an outbreak of centipede, Sam, and it's really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that on my list.
Yeah.
Creepy
Creepy
I like
crawly.
the
Crawly.
quarantine type movies too. So,
Yeah.
is
I
it
will
take
say
place
there
in Thailand?
it takes place in Thailand, yeah.
So watch it when I
Um,
get back from Thailand.
are you going to Bangkok? Because that's where it takes place. I don't know. You'll
I'm
probably fly
actually
into
not
Bangkok.
sure where I'm going yet.
Okay. Um, oh, there was another one. Oh, I forgot to mention this one with the arachnids. Sorry, they're playing over there. Uh, Arachnid. Has anyone seen Arachnid from 2001?
No, I've heard of it,
No
but
one
I
has
haven't
seen
seen
this
it.
movie. Seriously. I stumbled on it like Tubi or something one day, and it's really, really unique. It has awesome looking spiders in it. It has a really like kind of a funny little script, like the dialogue is interesting, but I had a good time watching it. There's some good kills in it. But I thought the spiders looked really good, and it's pretty damn unique. So I recommend Arachnid from 2001. Another Thai movie, I forgot about this, or maybe it's Indonesia. Oh no, it's Thai. We didn't talk about bees, but can we quickly talk about bees? Um, there's one called The Hive from 2008, and there's a million horror movies called The Hive. But this one is like a made-for-TV type sci-fi vibe, you know. But it's a Thai horror movie, and it's about a group of scientists or something, and they have to go deal with this hive that's like really super intelligent. And it's so silly. I mean, it's so silly because they figure out how to group together and form. Oh no, they're not bees, they're ants. It's an ant movie. I thought it in my mind I thought it was a bee movie, and then I just remembered it's an ant movie. So there you go. We have another ant movie, everybody. But it's so funny because like there's like millions of ants, so they band together and they form like a like human hand for some reason. You know, like it's so silly. Okay, The Hive is an ant movie, not a spider movie. Hey boys and girl. They're all jumping, all three of them are jumping on my legs right now.
Sorry, what was the creepy crawly one? Like creepy crawly?
Creepy Crawly, Crawly.
It's creepy
And I
crawly.
know can
I don't
we
know. It's not
stop
popping up.
jumping on me, please?
I'll figure it out after. It's okay.
Okay.
Oh, puppy.
And Judy. Judy. Has anyone seen Masters of Horror episode? Oh, we were talking about people turning into bugs. The Fly, of course, is the most famous example of that. There's a Masters of Horror episode directed by Lucky McKee that was Sick Girl. Has anyone seen that?
No.
Okay, so I recommend that too. It's about someone who loves bugs. Um, and she gets sick one day. And it reminded me of that story. It's like that old German story, The Metamorphosis, about that dude who wakes up and he's turned into a giant cockroach. That story is from like I don't know, the 1800s or something. It's really old. But I love that there's a tradition of that that goes far back in time. And the idea of a person turning into the insect to me is the scariest type of insect horror is the insect body horror. So I love Sick Girl. Buffy the Vampire Slayer has an episode where the teacher turns into the praying mantis. I love that episode, and she starts hitting on Xander. It's that's a great one. Was there
There's a
another?
movie,
Yeah.
Bite,
Oh yeah.
Which
Chad
one?
Archibald.
Mhm.
Bite.
Yeah. Talk
And
about
she
that one.
goes, yeah, so she goes away. It's her bachelorette party, I think.
Yep.
And she goes to, was it Costa Rica? She goes away like to a tropical place and gets bit by something. And when she comes back home, yeah, she starts like there's lots of body horror. She starts turning into this bug type thing, and her whole apartment starts transforming to like this like nest type thing.
I
It's
saw
one of my
that.
favorites. It's so good.
It's
Yeah,
gross.
it is
Oh, I want
gross.
to watch that. That sounds really good.
Oh, have you not seen
Bite.
it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's definitely my favorite bug movie. If I'm gonna have a favorite bug movie, that's it.
You talked to the director of that or something?
Chad
Was
Archibald.
that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, he
That's
did an
awesome.
interview with them. He's local to us, so we got like
Oh,
some
cool.
merch from it and stuff. And
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
we actually
that's
won the
awesome.
movie.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
the
Okay.
contest. Yeah, but
Well,
it's
let's
also
do.
it's streaming
Oh,
somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I forget where, but
okay.
it is.
We'll look at Bite. Yeah, Bite by Chad Archibald. Okay, I'm gonna watch that because that sounds really right up my alley. Okay. Are there any other random instances? I was just listing off some random ones. Mike, did you
Uh,
have some?
So
Oh,
I do have something to give on this one. Because I will always have to shout out a found footage film if I
oh
can
yeah.
that fits
Yes.
the bill. And there are water parasites in this movie, and it's a great found footage film. If you guys have heard of it, The Bay.
oh yeah, the
Oh, the
Bay.
The
Bay.
Bay is terrifying. It is gross. It has a jump scare that got me so good. It was a cheap, like, not even a well thought out jump scare, but it still got me good. It was simple but effective. Uh, yeah, that movie is one to watch. One, if you love found footage films. Two, if marine biology, things you can't see, specifically to parascopic parasites that will infect and cause chaos in a day. Um, the Bay is something that you need to watch.
Ooh,
Good one.
that is a really fantastic. I'm so glad you brought that up at the end. Um, any other random ones to throw in there?
I don't know if you could put this in this category. We just watched a movie called Bug. I don't want to
Yes.
say anything about it because if any of the listeners have not seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a very psychological movie and it is really freaking good.
Yep.
It's called Bug.
So
So I'm
that
going to throw it in the bug category.
so that's the second movie that I had alluded to that like really messed with my mind
Yeah.
because of what I go through. Obviously it's a different type of scenario, but I definitely think it's a creative uh pick for this because I was gonna count this movie too.
Okay.
I think it's a creative pick for this topic. And yes, it's a psychological horror film that definitely gets under your skin, and it really gets under mine. And that movie, I saw it during the pandemic because I've never seen it before. And one of my friends who isn't in the horror community online, but I just knew her through a restaurant I worked at, and we just love talking horror. And she was telling me about Bug, and I was just like, "Oh, never seen it." She goes, "You need to watch it." Blah blah blah. And then I told her about like my condition of things, and she goes, "I would have never recommended that movie to you. I am so sorry." I'm like,
Oh.
"We're good." I'm like, "It's a great. I love and adore that movie. It's for a psychological horror film, I think it is so well done. I think the acting was phenomenal. But yeah, that takes you down a descent to madness like no other.
I wonder why it's so good. It's directed by none other than William Friedkin, the master of horror himself, or the master of movies, I mean, period. So that's, yeah. Thank you so much for bringing that up too. I think these are really tremendous movies that encapsulate the reason why bug movies resonate so much, and it's deeply psychological, I think. Are there any others that you have to throw in there?
There's so many more. Um,
There's some, yes, I know.
so it's almost
There's a million of these.
we maybe like we did talk about actually almost all of them on my list. Um,
Oh, good.
I'll bring up two more. Um, we can't talk about bugs without talking about Creep Show.
Oh
And this
yeah.
was the cockroach. There's a segment within the movie which is I can't remember what the segment's called. I can't remember what the main character's name is, but I just picture the white bathroom that he's excessively
Hmm.
cleaning and trying to get this cockroach out, and then it just filling with cockroaches. Excellent. Fantastic actor in there. I can picture him. I just can't remember what his name is. But I feel like you can't have a bug discussion without bringing that movie up.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's going a little more sci-fi, but this movie holds a special place in my childhood because I think it was one of the first times I saw boobs on the screen. Would be Starship Troopers.
I've
O
never seen that.
Only good bug is a dead bug.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, I love it. I
That's
think
perfect.
I
Forgot
think
about that
it's
one.
such crazy cool designs for the bugs. You know, you got flying ones, you got the warrior bugs, the brain bugs. Um, and it's just cool how they all interact like actual bugs and stuff. The big beetles that like shoot like torpedoes out their ass and stuff. It's a satire on like all kinds of war propaganda and stuff. Like there's a deeper meaning than behind what the movie's actually about. But I love Starship Troopers. I think it's great.
I don't know
Man,
that.
yeah, these are some really good ones. And some of these are like we didn't even talk about arachnophobia, for example.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But some of these just seem so obvious to me that I forget to talk about. Like I love arachnophobia because arachnophobia has John Goodman, who's one of my favorite actors who ever lived, probably. But that's not why I love that movie in particular. I love that movie because they do use real spiders as well, and they trained them and they took really good care of them. One of my favorite facts is the famous scene where John Goodman steps on the spider and they cut out the bottom of his shoe so he could actually step on it without hurting the spider. So I love that is like the magic of movies, and it it creates this. It's like you're showing a movie about how terrifying these spiders are, and yet they're probably treating the spiders more lovingly than your average Joe would be treating them on the street. Any others, Brendan? What else you got? The
I do
bees?
the bees. Fuck. Um, I definitely agree with arachnophobia. I just watched arachnophobia for the first time too for this episode as well, and I think it's fantastic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the effects hold up so well. I can't believe how good that animatronic spider looks. The acting from everybody is fantastic. It kept me totally engaged throughout the whole thing, and it feels very Steven Spielberg. Um,
Yeah, it does. I
so
love it.
it it's lighthearted, but it's got thrills and chills as well. But there's quite a few. Like I think I guess I can talk about the bees. The bees
Yes,
the bees
I was going to ask you about it specifically because the bees, have you heard of this movie, Mike? The bees?
I'm sure I have. I don't, funny enough, I don't think I've seen any bee horror movies, like actual bee horror movies,
Right, right.
except for like The Wasp Woman, and
Okay.
there was like a 1940s, 50s, The Killer Bees, I think, or something like that I've seen briefly. Um, but other than that, not too many bee movies.
Okay, the
So what
bees
is the
is
bees?
the bees is from the 70s and it stars John Saxton, and it's about African killer bees that had been brought over to I think Mexico to start, and then they escape and form a consciousness as a swarm and begin attacking cities of New York. And eventually, it's all about climate change. It's saying that we have to, the bees tell the UN that we have to change our ways, otherwise, they're going to attack further. It's
I
fucking
love it so
wild.
much. We need the
I,
bees now. Come
I have
back.
not seen this, but now that you're explaining it, I definitely have heard of this movie.
The music is awful. And I know we talked about this, Bitter Wolf, about that you like how like off the music is. I fucking hate it. It's so weird and doesn't fit the tone at all. Um, I like the cool edition I bought of this movie. I just don't know if I'll ever watch it again.
That's understandable. I mean, I just get a kick out of that type of thing, and honestly, I don't usually rewatch them again either. But but yeah, would you watch that, Mike? Does that sound
Oh, that sounds right
exciting?
up my alley. I'm gonna watch that one.
I thought so. That's good. Any others?
I have one last one, and this is more of a stretch on it
Okay.
being an insect horror movie, but I do think insects play a major role in this movie,
Okay.
and it is called Swallowed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Uh,
forgot those are little
Probably
bugs.
Mark Patton.
Yes,
so
he's so good in that movie. Oh my
yeah,
God.
that movie, where basically it's like a drug mule situation, but they're in their body, they are smuggling psychedelic bugs.
Yeah.
And
How
I
did we
thought that
not
was
think of
such
this before? Oh my
a
God.
crazy premise. And what I do kind of like is there seem to have been like a quick trend of movies like that. I can't attest to this movie because I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my watch list, is All Jacked Up on Worms or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's on my watch list too. I think you might have told me about
And
it
it's about
in the horror
psychedelic
mosaic.
worms.
Going to my
Yeah,
watch list.
that's awesome.
And so I just think it's so cool when there's like these little random trends of like very unique style ways to go about in horror. Uh, but for me, I loved that movie Swallowed. I thought it was really wild. I thought Mark Patton did such a great job in his role. I thought everybody played their role really well. But I thought it was such a unique take on so many different little like tropes, subgenres in horror and stuff. But again, to me, even I wouldn't consider it insect horror because of the fact that like it's not an insect thing, but I do think that bugs play a huge role in this movie. Uh, so I would lean it over into this category.
I mean, Mark Patton blew me away in that movie. I was like, I never thought he could make me hate him, but damn, he did a good job. And I wanted it. I love that movie, but I wanted more ooey gooey stuff because that is like, come on, you're putting psychedelic bugs up your ass. Can you imagine if Brian Usna did that movie? It would be like so goopy and just like really hard to watch. But at the same time, I liked the way that they did it. So I kind of hate whenever it's like I hate making comments that are like, "Oh, we should have done it this way." So I'm not saying that again. Okay. Uh, any others that anyone wants to share?
I got one last one, and I think it needs to be talked about because I think this movie would be right up Sam's alley if she'd give it a shot, and it is
Okay.
Slugs from the
Oh,
80s.
slugs! How can we forget slugs? Yes.
Slugs
Okay, sell it.
is basic is is basically like your small town uh kind of the Blob feeling esque
Yeah.
where these slugs are having mutations and then they start going after like the 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 teenage kids hooking up like they get eaten.
Sold.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
good.
You follow like a professor through the whole time, trying or a city head of the city kind of guy. I can't remember exactly, but the effects are great. The slugs look fantastic. Um, yeah, it's really good. I as soon as I was finished watching it, I'm like, Sam should have watched this with me. I think she would have appreciated it.
If
It's
you
nice.
like
Yeah.
it, if you like it, also give Squirm a try.
Oh yeah, Squirm. That's on my watch list. I haven't
It's
seen it yet.
very similar style to Slugs, but instead of slugs, it's worms.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Got another Worms. I
From
like
the
worm
70s?
movies.
Yes, Squirms from the 70s. I have it upstairs. That's actually in the Blu-ray player. I watched it for this as well. Uh
No.
I th
Slugs is better.
personally, yeah, Slugs is better in my
Oh, okay.
opinion. Squirm's interesting. Um
You think I'll like it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
There's like I don't like worms. Worms are like they gave me the ick. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just don't like them. And there's scenes where it is just literally like 6 feet piles of fucking worms in rooms and stuff, and it just
Oh,
grosses me out. And I really don't like
oh, I need to
I've
It's
watch
heard
that
just
good
because
about
I need to
those.
feel that.
yeah.
it's just so funny and cool because they're like it's if I remember correctly, they're electric, right?
So they're being drawn out from the ground due to a downed hydro pole that is sending like 50,000 volts into the ground. So it's bringing up and pissing off the worms. So they just attack people. And it only lasts like a day or a night. And then it just never happens again. It's like at the beginning of the movie, it's like these are the events of a mysterious event that happened to this town after this crazy storm, and it's trying to make you believe it's like a true story or
It
something like
very
Oh
that.
much
wow.
it very much had like that Texas Chainsaw beginning,
Yeah,
like trying to tell you, and you're like, this isn't the same.
Texas Chainsaw Worms.
This
Yes,
isn't the
worm
same
face.
effect. You're not giving what Texas Chainsaw gave.
and they're big worms too. Like they're like they got like mouths and everything on them that you see. Like I don't know if those ones
Ooh,
are
like
real or not,
ooh.
but
Go eat
yeah, it's
worms.
interesting.
That's no, the big ones are disturbing. And I almost included things like Slither and Tremors, but then these are like, you get and you start getting into space worms. That opens up a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
And Tremors is is near and dear to me, and of course, those are just different. It's like not it's like a monster, not really a worm, but I wanted to focus on the terrestrial beings that we have going crazy, and you all brought the goods. You introduced some new movies that I'd never heard of before, and I'm super excited to watch. You brought up some old classics that I can't believe I didn't remember to put on the list. I'm glad that you were able to enjoy some things that you'd never seen before as we were preparing for this as well. But are there any others that you have to talk about?
No, I think I hit
No,
pretty much everyone on my list.
I got all of mine.
Okay, great. Well, before we go, I want to do one quick thing. So let me see if I can share. We're going to go all the way down here. So, what I've compiled here is a list of some of the most frightening and terrifying insects or bugs, because spiders aren't insects, so we have to call it bugs. So I'm going to go through some of the most terrifying ones I could find, and we are going to face our fears today and learn about these bugs. And then you're going to decide which one do you think you would face off in a horror movie. Okay, here we
Oh
go.
God.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh God.
Oh God,
That's a
what is
big
that?
ass spider.
Yeah, it's gross.
Okay, so this is. Let me get my list. I can't remember what it's called. This is the Brazilian wandering spider. Okay. This is obviously scary looking, but it can also cause severe pain if it bites you, and it can paralyze you as well. And it is really big. It's bigger than my hand. Okay. What do you think?
I don't like it.
What is
Okay.
that?
Oh, I don't like that
Is
either.
that a
What do you
mosquito?
think
It's
that
like
is?
I
it's
don't
got a,
know,
like
but
a
I'm uncomfortable.
it's got
Okay,
a
so
scorpion tail too.
Oh my
Duh.
God.
you don't. If you need to step out of the room at any point, Mike, that's okay. Or
No,
not
not
let
like
them.
that. Like it's so gross.
Yes. This is. Any ideas what this is called?
Not a
Is it a
clue.
mosquito type?
This is called the scorpion fly.
Oh,
Oh, I got half of it.
Yes.
yeah,
Just because
scorpion.
half of it's a scorpion.
Yes.
That is no
So
fly.
the good thing about the scorpion fly is that it doesn't bother humans. It doesn't hurt you really. It just looks weird. So I just put it on there because it looks funky. That's all.
Well,
Oh,
it's
good.
flying
Oh,
because it is bothering me. And what the fuck is that?
Ew.
So giant
sorry.
critter.
Oh, okay. This is yes, exactly. It's from New Zealand. It's called the giant weta or weta. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Yeah, giant cricket. There you go.
Ew.
Um, it it doesn't hurt you or anything. It's just really big and it looks like it came out of a kaiju uh monster movie or something.
Right.
Looks like it's straight out of the mist.
It does. Oh, it does. That's a good one. I like that. The Mist. Oh, you know what this is?
Is that an ant?
It's a zombie ant.
What is a zombie ant, Brendan?
A zombie ant is an ant that has been infested with a parasite that takes over its nervous system and then finds himself on a plant or a leaf and creates this little sprout that releases spores onto the ground to repeat the parasite's life cycle.
Jesus.
Why do
Beautiful.
you know this?
I, I, because like yeah, I mean,
It's like explain yourself.
well, okay, I know this for a couple different reasons because I like to watch I used to watch like how the zombie apocalypse could happen, and
Oh wow.
this is a pretty big theory, and it's also what was
Okay.
used in the Last of Us TV show. Is
No.
That's how the zombie apocalypse starts in that show.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So here you go, the zombie ant.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Oh, that was
That wasn't
Oh,
swallowed.
What?
that was this. It kind of looks like that, doesn't
it
it?
does.
It's a giant fucking grub. Do you think that's cute?
It kind of looks cute. It looks like something Timon and Pumbaa would eat.
That's exactly what they would eat.
Oh God.
That's still gross though.
So
Ew.
to me, this is a larva for the Hercules beetle.
Ew, the word larva just made it
Yeah,
not cute.
that took me already. Was that a Hercules
Um,
beetle? Don't want to know what it is.
the worst
It's a
part about
giant
it is
beetle.
that if you touch it in a certain way, it'll hiss at you. Ugh. Okay, there you go.
Ew.
Don't like it.
Oh my God. It's furry.
Don't like
It's
it.
fuzzy.
That's an interesting looking bug. I've never seen one like that.
I'm
It's
sorry,
very
Mike.
fuzzy.
I feel like I'm torturing Mike. I'm sorry, Mike.
No,
Um,
you're fine. It's so gross.
okay, this is called a doodle bug. It has a cute name. There you go.
Oh,
Also the ant lion or something like that that maybe describes its furriness. But these are grotesque creatures that they don't bother you, but they dig death traps in the dirt for their prey and they suck them dry like that, like Hannibal and what you call. So the ant lion. There you go.
cool.
What is that? That looks
Okay,
like a fairy.
what is it?
Caterpillar?
Yeah, it's called the pus caterpillar.
Ew.
It's cute, right?
Not with the plus name.
No.
Yeah, where's its head?
Like moist.
Well, but okay, but let me ask you this. If you saw this caterpillar in your yard, would you feel like you wanted to touch it?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I don't touch
No.
bugs.
I feel like it's poisonous of some kind.
Oh
Yeah,
yes. Okay.
getting
Yes.
that it's poisonous.
So it looks, yeah, so here's the pus caterpillar. It's cute, but it's one of the most venomous caterpillars in the world. Its
Ooh.
sting can cause searing pain, nausea, or even send you into a state of shock. So there you go.
Is this in Australia?
Probably. I didn't read that part.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. It's pretty.
Finally a normal one.
Normal.
Is it
I think I
normal?
see
We'll find out.
I think I see these ones around. Aren't they like
What? Here?
yeah,
Oh
you've never seen
God.
like those blue like wasp things flying around?
I don't analyze the wasps I run.
Okay, that's fair.
This is the tarantula hawk wasp. Wow, that's a
Jesus.
mouthful.
What a name. That is like all the coolest things mixed into one.
I learned very early that when something is named after other animals in their name, you stay the fuck away.
Not only that, but like deadly animals in each one.
Okay, so why do you think it's called the tarantula hawk wasp? Well, you can guess the wasp part, but what about the others?
It
Does it
eats
have eight
them.
legs?
What'd you say, Brennan?
Does it have eight legs?
No.
No.
I
Is
thought
it
you said does it lay eggs? And I was like, yeah, it has to do with that.
Oh yeah, no
is
legs.
it venomous, which is why it's like a tarantula and it's a hawk because it goes down for its prey? I don't know.
I think it's hawk because of how big it is, actually.
Oh.
It's a really big wasp. You can't really tell that from this picture. Um, but I read somewhere that, yeah, it looks like you can see it when it's flying. It's really big. But it's called a tarantula because of the following reason. It has one of the most excruciating stings known to man. That's not why it's like a tarantula, but it hunts tarantulas.
I knew it.
Um,
Oh.
yeah, hunts tarantulas and it lays its eggs inside the tarantula.
Ew.
Um, and then it allows its larva to eat the tarantula from the inside out.
I'm not okay with this.
So there you
That's
go.
wild.
All of these creatures should have had horror movies at this point.
Yeah. Oh my God. Look
No,
at him. He is a funny looking little fucker.
it's weird because he almost looks like his eyes. He has it almost looks like he's got people eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very
This is the
uncomfortable.
spiny, what is it called? The spiny devil. The spiny devil Katie did, which is totally harmless. And I just put it on here because of its name, sounds like a horror name, the spiny devil,
Looks
and
like a
of how it
cactus.
looks. It looks kind of funny. It kind of looks like one you'd see in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or something.
Yeah, or something out of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, so Mike, we'll go to you first. If you had to be in a horror movie with any of these creatures as the star, uh, not the good star, like the villain hunting you down, which one would you want to be in?
I'm dying by self-choice.
Okay.
I don't want to be up against any of these, but what I will say, I don't want to be in this movie. However, a movie that I would love to see of one
Yeah.
of
Oh,
the
okay. Yeah.
creatures would be a little bit further down. I'm trying to remember which one. Keep going. No, not you, fucker. Either the zombie ants or what was this little the one, not this ugly thing that we're seeing, that one. The scorpion fly
Oh,
that's not a
yeah.
fly.
Yeah.
I think just because that would look like a cool if we try to do a retro 50s horror film, but insect horror film, that would be a
Yep.
cool look.
For
Um,
sure.
but for a true horror, but I think you said that it started the whole like The Last of Us thing, but that zombie ant definitely has horror movie
Mhm.
written all
All
over it.
over it. Absolutely.
I'm not
Absolutely.
okay with that. I don't want to be
Yeah.
in that movie, but
I like your approach though. That's a good one. Even though you say I don't want to be in any, so I'm gonna see which one I want to watch. What about you, Sam?
The cactus looking one is harmless, so I'm going with that.
There you go. You just
smart
look at it.
choice.
It's gonna be a very boring horror movie, but
It might be unnerving after a while. If he's just sitting there staring at you all the like.
yeah, it'll be psychological because we'll just be having a staring contest and
Oh
then I'll
my
get
God, could you
Yeah.
mad.
imagine?
Okay,
That's a lot.
Brendan, do you have one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the tarantula uh hawk wasp.
Ooh,
I think it'd
beautiful.
be a pretty interesting horror movie if it decides to switch up its nesting of for prey. Let's say it like grows by another foot, and it starts laying some eggs and some people, and then
Eats them
Yep.
from the inside out. Yeah.
Ooh, grows by
Gross.
another foot. That was good too, Brendan, because if you grow another foot, that's like the perfect size for it to be like so disturbing. Because it's not too big where it's like you feel like you need a car to outrun it. That seems less threatening than something that's like that. It's like in Jurassic Park why the raptors are way more threatening to me than the T-Rex. Because it's like you could hide somewhere like inside a house to escape the T-Rex, but you couldn't do that from the Raptors because they opened the door. So I think that's what makes this so scary as well.
yeah, nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for entertaining me with that. And Mike, you made it. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. I think that is bringing us to the end here. Um, I was gonna do the Bug Horror Awards, but I think I'm gonna save that for a different time actually, because I thought of something during this, and I'll save it for something else. Because I think we covered so much. We talked about so many bugs today. We talked about so many bug movies, and thank you all for coming. Do you have any final words you want to say about bugs?
Love them from afar.
Yes.
What he said.
Yeah, I think that's good. Treat them with respect, and they'll treat you with respect back.
Will they though?
Exactly. Exactly. And we need more bug movies. We need practical effect bug movies. And we always love those. But thank you all for coming here. I had so much fun talking to you today, and I can't wait to have you all back again on the Bitter Wolf channel. So thank you so much for coming to the Wolf Cave, as I've started calling it recently.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you for having us.